All right. Alan Garcia, our patron, beloved patron, says, "What were your favorite player rumors that you were glad did not turn out to be true?"
Go, Keon. Go. You go first, my friend.
All right.
Stage is yours.
I haven't thought too deeply about this, so I'm just going to roll with the one that came to my mind immediately. And if there are other ones that Madridistas feel are more prominent, which I'm sure exists because, again, I haven't thought that deeply about it, please let me know. But the one that came to my mind was in the summer of 2009 when we went on that big spree and we signed everybody. We were heavily linked with David Villa, who would have been a great signing, but for whatever reason, that died and we signed Benzema instead, and that really worked out for us long term. So I'm happy with that one.
That's it.
That's the one I just came up with. Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny actually because when I first thought about this question, the first thing that came to mind were all of the horrid ones that have happened. Some more recent, other ones in the more distant past. And there's so many that I could come up with in that sense. So it was hard for me to actually think of a one that didn't materialize and conceptualize into one of those shocking horror signings. Except for the most obvious one. And that is, of course, back in the day, 2003, we're rewinding tape to when a very young Joan Laporta and alongside of him a young Sandro Rousset of Elefant Blau were presenting themselves to the elections for the Barca presidency, taking over for a reign, the Gaspar era, that was followed by Reina, President Reina for I don't know actually how long he was in, because Gaspar I think it was half a season, maybe a little bit longer. In any case, Joan Laporta, obviously the ace under his sleeve, was the arrival that upon his election, if it were to be chosen, along with him would come the model boy that was what would they call him? The fifth spice, sixth spice, the spice boy, David Beckham.
Yeah.
And that obviously never materialized. That never happened, right? Luckily for us, that didn't conceptualize. And instead, he went over to Real Madrid and massive. And Joan Laporta managed to bring Ronaldinho with him instead. And the rest is history. I think, especially nowadays, you could see, the repercussions, the ramifications of Ronaldinho coming to Barca at that right time. Because I would say even before Messi, I think most of the Barca fans nowadays, you have different phases of when you became a Barca fan, obviously, right? The older you are, and the earlier you go back to when you actually started following Barca. So for me, it was more early 90s era, certainly with young life in the dream team. For you as well with your Real Madrid. But I think the point I'm trying to make is the majority of fans nowadays are Ronaldinho Barca fans, more, I think, than Messi fans, I think. And the reason I say this is because in that Legends game between Madrid and Barca over in Israel, Kian, every time Ronaldinho touched the ball, there was just electricity in the air. You hear the ohs and the eyes and the excitement, just people immediately get excited. And so with that is the effect, the Ronaldinho effect, I think was so impactful then, and it's obviously so long lasting, and thank God it did materialize. And David Beckham didn't end up coming, who I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, was a failure. Or he didn't live up to the No, a failure maybe is harsh, but he didn't have the impact, besides from a marketing aspect on the field, or from a sporting aspect. I think that maybe many were expecting, or the hype that was surrounding that transfer didn't do justice to that.
Yeah, it's a tough one because none of it was his fault. Because of his transfer, the team suffered imbalance. What really should have happened, if they really wanted to sign him, what really should have happened is they should have sold Figo that same summer and just put Beckham on the right wing instead of Figo, because Figo actually declined after that anyway, and he lost his value by the time he got into Inter. And that way you maybe could have kept Makaleli as well. But Beckham became really important under Capello, for example, years after the Galactico project, kind of. But it's really crazy. I mean, that one, it all starts with Beckham and Manchester United, and when Sir Alex Ferguson threw the shoe at Beckham in the locker room. I don't know if you remember that.
Of course.
But that feud and him having to be sold because of the tension there really changed the trajectory of three clubs: Manchester United, Barcelona, and Real Madrid.
And it all started. That's a great point.
I think Real Madrid really shouldn't have intervened at all, because he was on his way to Barca. They had agreed to a deal, just to refresh people's memory, and then Beckham didn't know anything about this deal because he was on holiday or something, and then he found out he's going to Barca, and he said, no, I want to go to Real Madrid. And then Real Madrid were notified, like, okay, let's just sign him really quickly. And then Barca got mad, but it worked out way better for Barca because they got Ronaldinho, and Real Madrid was a terrible deal for them because they sold Makelele, and the club just went in different directions.
That Makelele sell. Yeah.
Big one.
That wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest stain on Florentino's presidency. I mean, again, from a sporting perspective, because that one haunted him for a long time. That Makelele transfer.
It's probably number one. I would say for sure top three. Off the top of my head, Del Bosque getting fired was bad. There's two others that were. There's Clemente. More. There's at least three others actually that were bad, but he didn't like when he fired Ancelotti, it unintentionally worked out for him, because then he fired Benitez and then he got Zidane and won the three-peat with a little bit of luck, right? And he didn't plan that to happen, but and also selling Redondo. There were riots in the streets, if you remember, at that time outside the Real Madrid offices, but that unintentionally worked out as well because they signed Makelele, who turned out to be better than everyone thought, and because Redondo was just injured for the rest of his career. There's others, Hierro and Morientes getting pushed out. Anyways, it's a whole other podcast. We answered the question though, right?
We did.
Okay. The other one is he sold Cambiaso, which he shouldn't have. Jordan.
No,
Frazeo. What's that?
No, Makelele level. That's Cambiaso.
No. Jordan Frazeo, who has sent me instructions to how to pronounce his last name, because before I said Frazao, I think. Frazeo. He says, "Hi, Kian.
Right.
With the reopening of the Bernabeu this weekend, can you explain to us where we are at in terms of construction stages? How many fans are allowed in the stadium? I'm assuming the new shopping area is completed. What else needs to be done? And thanks for answering my question last pod. And the new Drake is fire." Okay, let's start from the top. Reopening of Bernabeu this weekend. We are allowed 40% capacity for the Bernabeu. Everything is ready. Obviously, the stadium is not complete, but the plan always was before the pandemic says that they would do it in different sections. So they would close one section, but leave it open to the fans, and then work it around and just finish, close, open, finish another section, etc. The new shopping area, I have no idea if it's completed or not. Ewan is going there on behalf of Managing Madrid this Sunday, so maybe he can give us an answer. I haven't been in Madrid since the Clásico last March, but even if it's completed, it's not going to be open until 2022, like the start of next season. So that's all I got. I'm excited to have fans back in the stadium. Have you listened to the new Drake yet?
I have not, dude. Have not. It's in fact, I kind of almost forgot about it. I've been so into the Nas album, and I think we talked about it on the pod. It's literally been one of those where I've had it on repeat for the longest I can remember having any album ever on repeat. And then just through random song, I have two playlists of over 500 tracks, and they're all bangers. And then I get these suggested tracks. You know how it is on Spotify, or I don't know if you do, but yeah. But I look forward to check it out. I'm happy I should have been reminded of it.
Did you listen to the new Kanye?
Neither.
Oh,
I heard that was really good too.
I like that one. So Kanye I think the Kanye one was really polarizing. Not a lot of people
again, as usual.
Yeah, I was the only one. Me and another one of my friends were the only one out of a 5-person group chat with my cousins that really liked it. The other 3 hated it. and I really liked it from the first listen, and it got better every time I listened to it. The Drake one is classic Drake, where it's like I've heard all these songs before. It's the exact same song, but then you have to listen to it like 5 times to really understand if it's good or not. And I'm starting to enjoy it now. So that's how I always am with Drake. It's like usually the first listen, I'm like, okay, this is not really anything new, but then you kind of start to appreciate it a little bit more after the fact. But new Nas is great. You're right. That's an amazing.
But the thing is. But the thing is with both of these artists, like, or with any artist really, and especially the best, the top ones, the most impactful ones, your Nas's, Drake's, Kanye's, at least at their best and at their peak and at their primes, when you hear a track, it just hits you, man. It's, again, to reference Bob Marley, when when the music hits you, you don't feel pain. It's just, you feel, it's an instant, massive rush of goodness, and I get goosebumps immediately, and at least that's how I react to really tracks that are that are heartfelt and bangers, really. And again, it's obviously just very personal, subjective, and then there are those tracks as well that you need 1 or 2 listens, or you need to just listen to them right at the right time. Or especially if you smoke a little bit. Honestly, when you smoke, music sounds different. It sounds better. And you get something different out of it too. So there's that as well.
In my case, if you drink coffee, it just hits differently. Before I forget, did you see the new Matrix trailer?
Can't fucking wait, man.
You saw it? Okay, cool.
Yes, but it better live up to the expectations. I mean, Matrix for me, must be the same for you or anybody that saw the very first Matrix. I walked it out of that movie theater, which I haven't been to in years. I walked out of the movie theater like, I can run up walls. We're living in a simulation. Give me the pill. You know, what was the blue pill, right? He takes, or the red one?
The red pill.
He takes the red pill. Yeah.
The second one was my favorite. Just the car chase scenes and some of those scenes are incredible. Yeah.
Did you have this moment of like where your mind was sort of blown and you just saw the world a little bit different, or you at least started to? It's like when we read a great book that you feel like your mind is expanding, your mind is open a little bit, or there's a little seed planted where you just start thinking and viewing things from a different perspective. And I know obviously The Matrix maybe is not that profound, or maybe it is, but that movie, that kind of impact on me, the first one, I was like, wait, is this even fucking real?
Well, I think that's why a lot of people like it, because it's a lot of those things that it's about a lot of those things we talk about around a campfire, or if like you're just chilling with your friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In your case, smoking a blunt. In my case, drinking an espresso. Right. You're just these theoretical conversations, like, are we in a simulation? And all this. Yeah. And I think it can be profound because we still don't really have any answers on we don't really have concrete answers. And I think the directors want to leave it open like that. Right. And I have confidence in these. I don't know how to pronounce their name. Wachowski, the brothers.
Yes.
I have confidence in these guys to blow our mind. And so I think while the expectations are going to be really hard to live up to, I still feel like I'm going to be coming away with it, like really thinking about like what I actually just watched, which is what I'm excited about. I don't know if you caught it, but in the trailer, there's a part where the original Matrix movie is playing in the background and people are watching it in the trailer. So there's a theory that like in this Matrix world, the movie The Matrix is actually part of the simulation, and maybe Neo was an actor in that movie as well. And it's like, so I'm excited to see like what other things we might discover from
When's it come out?
Christmas.
Shit, that's a long way still. Okay, well, good. The good things are worth waiting for.
We should watch it together somehow.
Well, that would be sick. Or you know what? Even like
in December.
I'm definitely gonna watch the first 3 again as well, because the first one I've seen so many times. I mean, I could start here and tell you the entire story. without fail. But the other two, because they were slightly disappointing as well, I have to say, I'm surprised. The second one still, but the last one really didn't hit me that same way as the first one did. So, but to kind of catch up and just out of respect as well for the Matrix series, I love that they brought out another one, and I really hope it's going to do justice.
Yeah.